Hey guys, welcome to Dow Jones Futures Review. I'm going to go over what went down today, Wednesday, May 20th. I'm starting off on a 4-hour chart. We're going to talk about what's happening on a broader spectrum here before getting into more details on today's action. Once again, as a reminder, white lines are major levels, orange lines are minor levels. Uh, I'm looking for setups ideally at white lines, and then orange lines are more for profit taking typically and or confluence. They let us know that price is respecting proper resistance and supports. So pretty much white lines as major lines are more important supports. I adjust them sometimes every day, sometimes every few days. The more I adjust them, the more exact they can be, but it's not necessary for me to have them be super exact as long as I still have my basic setups, which is liquidity sweeps. I'm looking for lows like this to get undercut, looking for lows like this to get undercut. As you can see here, we undercut it on Monday, this low. Last week on Sunday open, we undercut it on Tuesday morning. You can see multiple examples here. A low was set here on Tuesday, April 21st. On Wednesday, we undercut it and went long. The next day, this low was undercut, and onward and onward. So here we can see again, we are on a 4-hour chart. Pretty much what I can show you is this is a range. The range is from around 50,130ish, so about 5013, and the support is about around 4900. You can see in the middle here, this is a very important middle range we have. You can see how many times it was pushed off of, and then how many times we sold off of it here, came back, sold from there again, took off from there, held as a support a couple times, etc. So that's the range I'm looking at. Again, let's go into now 15-minute chart for today and see what was going on. Excuse me, let's go 45-minute first just to have a clear picture, just to show you guys what I was looking for, and we'll go from here. So I set these levels up last night, Tuesday evening, so that's around Tuesday 4 o'clock, which I usually do. At that time, we were pretty much hanging here, hovering here, and the next few setups I had in my mind were pretty obvious. We had a clear low from the afternoon here, so the undercut of that would be something I would have interest in. After that, the clear low from the Tuesday morning session was really the next best setup that I would look for. After that, I'm looking for an undercut of this level, maybe tagging here before coming back up. Price action made it really simple. I unfortunately decided to watch the Knicks game and not pay attention to the charts for once at night, and they knew that we were doing that. So what did the market do? They gave us a very simple setup here. They undercut the Tuesday morning low around 11 o'clock and then went right up. That's that. So how we would play this is once we saw we lost this low, that's my signal that, hey, there might be a setup coming up. The exact low here is 49.32.5. So about 4 points on Dow Jones is what I use to clear if we didn't lose this low by at least 8 points. Obviously, we did not. So 4 points above that would be 49.36.5. And would you look at that, this minor level coincides exactly with what we are looking for as an entry for this setup. So now I'm going to put a red line here just so you can see what the low is as we get into a 1-minute chart. I'm going to let you guys know this is a trigger, and then let's take off and see what we can do. Just so break down this setup from last night, Tuesday evening on Dow Jones Futures. A very simple, straightforward liquidity sweep. It's my bread and butter. It's what I've been learning to trade for over 5 years now, and I'm here willing to share it with you guys. So when did we lose that low? We initially lost that low around 9:37. We dipped below and went right back up to the trigger here. At that point, we stayed above the trigger for a few minutes, enough for one to enter if they wanted to. I did not enter this. I was watching the Knicks game, and I would want a little bit more selling ideally. But then we lost that low again, came back and got some proper acceptance around 11:30. You can see we lost it, went back to it. That's my signal. I'm interested again in this setup. A double dip is a classic thing here. We sold down, we came back to it. That's acceptance. Now I'm still looking for us to get up to the trigger here because we didn't sell much. So ideally I'm looking for more of the safer option. However, one could definitely take this long right around here after we stayed above for a few minutes if they choose. I prefer to clear the target, clear the low by at least 4 points or 5 points depending on the market if we did not lose the previous low by a certain amount. So again, we only lost this low from 49.32-ish to 29, so only 3 points. I need 4 points above this low for me to go long. We got to that trigger and we sold off, came back to it, pushed through at 12 a.m. That's my acceptance. And now at this point, if we can stay above a few minutes, I'd be willing to go long. That happened. So if you went long at 12:03-ish, I'm gonna go to a 5-minute chart now, show you what's going on. If you went long around 12 o'clock, you would have had a little choppiness, not much, nothing crazy, before taking off and being a very successful trade. Now coming back into today morning, Dow Jones is very, very well known for me to not undercut a low before going back up. So what that means is instead of losing the low, it'll go just a point or two above it, maybe a couple points more, maybe exact touch, maybe just a half a point, but it won't lose it sometimes before going up. So here around 9:30, I saw we sold right when we opened the day, right down to this level area, and then we started going close to this level. I had a feeling that this could be the case, and I was willing to risk the setup because we sold almost 40 points down here, straight shot pretty much, which is a lot for Dow Jones. So when we came down here, I actually took a small long just because I'm so used to that happening, and it worked out perfectly. We went right back up, and then we shot back down one more time, offered a second opportunity to enter that trade if you wanted to. This is more of like a level back test. This is more something that comes from experience, but just want to show you how often Dow Jones does do that, where it won't lose the low, won't give us opportunity to get the liquidity sweep. So that's when we have to trust our levels and hope that we're around when the sell happens and enter, because then if you entered around here, your stop loss is very little, only 2 points, with the reward being very high. So this is a classic setup for Dow Jones, not losing the low and continuing to go back up. Afterwards, which most of the setups were pretty crap. You're taking a lot of chance to get where you want to get to without seeing the right amount of risk reward. You can see at 10:15 we sold it exactly to this level, sold down, and then pushed through. That was a reclaim trade if one wanted to take it. We tagged this level. Everything was set up last night, by the way, exact as usual. Sold down a little bit, tagged it again, sold down, and then pushed through at 11:15. Another reclaim here before dipping a little bit below and resuming up. Not much to say. We just kept on going up today on Dow Jones after that setup. Looking at more of a 45-minute chart now. We are very extended, not much to work with. We're going to need some consolidation and some price action to show us some new lows and show its hand. So otherwise, we're pretty much screwed. This is the worst time to trade. I do see a possibility of a little low developing here that we could use. Clear low right here around 49.87. That could be the same situation where we don't undercut it, but ideally we will. So that'll be our setup for tomorrow. If we don't sell that much, there's another low right here, 6, 7, 8 points down from the current price action. We could undercut that. But again, I'd probably want to see this, and if not that, maybe back test this zone for a nice long. That would be about 35, 40 points. Actually, about almost 50 points-ish, 33, 43, almost about 50 points from the higher today if we can get back to this area for a back test. So let's see if Dow Jones can do that. Otherwise, have a great day, guys. Thank you.